back to Book Babble. I'm your host, John Hartness, and joining me, as always, is my co-host and cohort and partner in crime, Melissa McArthur, the associate publisher of Falstaff Books. And joining us tonight, live to tape from Atomacon 2019, Michael Livingston.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, bud. Thanks for joining us.
No problem, no problem. Happy to be here.
I 100% went into a panel room as it was ending and corralled Mike and said, hey, you want to come shoot a video? And he's like, sure, I guess.
Yes, you do.
Because I'm large, and it's hard to say no to someone this big.
It's hard to say no to you because you're a good man, John. You're a
Well,
good man.
thank you. So tell us a little bit about your books. Because you've had a few come out since we first met, must have been 5 or 6 years ago at JordanCon.
Yeah, it probably was. So I've got a trilogy of novels that have come out through Tor Books. The first of which is Shards of Heaven. They're set in sort of the rise of Rome. Cleopatra is a character that's right in that period. The third one, Realms of God.
Look at that.
The Realms of God, that came out 2 years ago, I think. So those are out. The latest work I've been doing has been through Audible. Audible came to me with an exclusive deal to do a couple of stories. Well, to do one story called Black Crow, White Snow.
I have that.
You have that?
It's in my phone.
Thank you.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Damn you. No, so
Don't worry.
It's a drop
Don't
back
worry.
home.
It still counts against your advance. It's fine. It's a sale.
Sell them and burn them. It still counts. And that did very well. It was the number 4, I think, best-selling audiobook in the world for about a month this year.
Holy shit!
Yeah. It was.
That's incredible.
It was
Good
taking.
job.
It was one of those things. You're like number 5 was George R. R. Martin. And you're screenshotting it. Like,
Dude,
suck it, George.
hun-
Please don't. I swear to God, I love you, George. But
I 100% did that a million years ago. Right after I sold my book, my self-pub series to Belbridge, they got me a Kindle daily deal. And this was back before there was BookBub, before there was any of that. If you got the Kindle daily deal, I moved like 4,000 copies of that ebook in one day. Yeah. So I hit number 1 in horror and number 1 in fantasy.
Wow.
On Amazon.
you're a best-selling author.
Yes. I screenshotted that shit because I looked at that and I was like, I am above George R. R. Martin and Charlene Harris. I am saving this for the dark days. And then I went on the horror and I was like, it was me, Stephen King, Dean Koontz. I'm like, yeah, baby. Yeah, suck it, Steve-O. Don't. I love you, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never met you.
We
but
just have our moments.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, they now have bought a trilogy of novels in that same world.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. So I just turned in the first one, Seaborn. The world is it's epic fantasy. The Shards of Heaven books are historical fantasy. They're set in our world. They're secret histories. I don't change anything about history. They're just the backstory is a little different. Poseidon of Trident might be real.
Now, I don't want to poke holes in your book or anything,
Sure.
but do you do any historical research?
I do some historical research. So my day job is I'm a professor at the Citadel.
Okay.
And I specialize in medieval military history. I also do ancient history now. And I do a lot of historical research on my stuff.
Because you have too many friends and contemporaries who will bust your balls if you fuck it
gut
up.
me like a pig if I screw something up. And the first of those novels, Shards of Heaven, I do the Battle of Actium, which is a very famous battle about Mark Antony and Cleopatra, the future Augustus Caesar. Incredible battle. We know a lot about it. And as I'm writing it, I'm realizing I need it to be raining.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't. There was no way it was raining. But I really need it to be raining. And fuck it, it's raining. Like it was just there was a certain point at which it was like, but I've done so much else right. Screw it. But it worked fine. I had the Trident of Poseidon there, and of course that was real. So
there you go.
So it's fine.
Sometimes you're just gonna get those emails. Like,
Yeah.
I get the emails because I write vampire books. I get the emails that say vampires don't really do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about those emails I send you, John.
I think, just take a second. Vampires don't really
do that. Yeah.
And I have to respond with, you're right. You're absolutely right. Vampires don't actually do that.
Yeah, because they don't exist.
Yeah.
And they do not turn into bats.
Are they?
Not in my universe, which I made an author rewrite the last quarter of a book she was working on in a shared universe because, well, she hadn't read all the source material.
Oh, dreadful.
And I said, so vampires don't turn into bats.
Yeah.
It's like explicitly stated. So that had to go.
Man, got to do your research.
That got me dirty looks.
No, that's not true bad. People got to do their research, man.
Yeah, well, and I didn't care because I own the publishing company. It's fine. I'm going to win the argument.
You get to call the shots at that point. Yeah. For those on the other end, we're always like, well, but you cut the checks. So.
Well, and when I'm working with Bellbridge, when I got the first cover for the Black Knight Chronicles reboot, I messaged her and said, so that shotgun. That shotgun does not use a box magazine. He said, well, we have multiple options. You can rewrite it so that it's a custom-made 12 gauge. You can rewrite it so it's a 12 gauge that uses a box magazine, or you can live with it. And here's your explanation. And note that none of those options were, I'll get the artist to redo the picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you cut the check. It's now a custom modified 12 gauge with a box magazine.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice.
So in addition to the stuff you're working on, and the Audible stuff is awesome, what have you been reading?
So the thing I've been mainly reading has been research on the Battle of Hastings.
Okay.
Because of the day job, and I've got 2 contracts. One I haven't quite signed yet, but by the time this is airing, I will have.
All right.
I'm
rushing this shit to.
Oh, are you?
Like 15 minutes from now. Yeah.
No. Bitch, I need to sign that. So I got a couple contracts to work on the Battle of Hastings, to try and identify where it was and things like that. So that's going to be very, very interesting.
So it wasn't in Hastings.
Well, it definitely was not in Hastings.
Okay. I know very little about the Battle of Hastings. That was 1066, right?
1066.
All right, I got that much.
You know more than most people will.
I'm like, look, that was England, and it was 1066, and it was important.
And the people who won weren't supposed to win?
Probably
really
especially well, if you ask the people they beat, they
if you ask
weren't.
the English, they were pretty sad about
it. Misnumbered or something? Like,
oh, you're probably thinking of something like Agincourt.
Maybe
I'm thinking about Agincourt, where Henry V was dead to rights, but he wins, or Crécy even. But yeah, Hastings. It's William the Conqueror. Versus Harold.
That dude.
And,
what a prick.
And William the Conqueror does win, and that becomes the Conqueror. He wasn't the Conqueror yet, but gets to be.
He was just William.
He was just William. He was just Willie, and just a little Willie, and he does win. So I'm working on that, and as a result, I've been doing a lot of research on Hastings, but that's included looking at fiction of Hastings because I'm very interested not only in sort of figuring out the historical picture of what happened, but how we perceive that.
Okay.
So, recently I just read one of Park Godwin's last novels. Park Godwin is a novelist I've always really admired, who writes historical fantasy. And he wrote a novel about Harold Godwinson, the man who dies at the Battle of Hastings, called Lord of Sunset. Came out in 1998, I think it was. So that's what's actually currently on my reading pile right now for fiction, is that sort of stuff. Mostly old stuff like that, but it's kind of magnificent.
It's not nearly as old as the book The Last Guy was telling us about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You've got almost a century on him.
And it's not nearly as old as the other sources for Hastings I'm reading, which are from 1066.
Yeah.
So, and those are a little bit hard to read too. But so that's what I'm reading. I'm getting into that kind of stuff and loving it. But like most of us, I've got 10 different books I'm reading at the same time.
Yeah. So if our viewers wanted to find out more about you, how would they do that?
MichaelLivingston.com is pretty easy.
And it's Livingston, not Livingstone.
That's right. You give me that last E and you're a bloody Brit, and it's not okay. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Medieval Guy. I tend to do a lot of stuff on there with debunking medieval movies.
Speaking of debunking.
Oh dear. Okay. Hit me.
So there might be people watching who have seen you in other video medium.
Oh yes, yes indeed, yes indeed. Okay,
Take just a couple of minutes here at the end.
Okay.
As I forgot that you were on a TV
Easy
show.
Easy to forget. Yeah. So just earlier this year, a couple months ago, a TV show premiered on Discovery Channel and Science Channel. They did it simulcast, which is cool. Called Contact.
Okay.
And it's about the search for whether or not UFOs are real. And I was one of the team members doing that. I was in the control room, sending out field teams to investigate possible UFO sightings and figure out what was happening.
So you're why we couldn't storm Area 51, because you
Yeah.
were there sending out control teams.
I swear, that thing hit, and I had people fill it up my Twitter. Is this a viral Discovery Channel advertising campaign, like some secret, because it was perfectly in line with it. I thought, God damn, there's no way anybody is that brilliant at Discovery. No offense to my bosses at Discovery, but
there's no one that brilliant anywhere.
But
Yeah,
holy
no.
crap, if they were, I was like, you earned every penny of your salary
Yeah.
if you got all those people out there to help with our media campaign. Because it was right at the same time that happened.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
But yeah, they wouldn't have found anything out there because UFOs aren't real. Sorry.
What? Well, what's that? That's a mosquito.
Sorry.
We're in Charleston. That's a mosquito and
yeah.
a UFO.
But yeah, it was a terrifically great time. I was there. The main team was myself and Mike Cole, who also writes amazing books. And
he's all right.
We had a terrific time. Mike and I are good friends, and it was not work, because you're having a great time with a friend of yours doing really great fun, and what they clip for the show doesn't necessarily match what was happening in the control room, because they make it very much more serious and
Drama.
Yes,
They make
tension.
it look like you gave a shit.
We cared very much.
Sure,
but there were things were
you were
edited.
having fun.
Things were edited a certain way. Which probably for the best. Some of the things that jokes we said probably were inappropriate for Discovery Channel audience. Probably for any audience. Actually.
I don't know. We got a pretty loose audience.
Might
here,
work for
bro.
your audience.
Yeah.
Might work for your audience. Yeah.
I mean, my whole brand is I say fuck a lot.
we said that a lot.
And that's not going to make it on the Discovery
we were
Channel.
like, no fucking way. And I was like, that's not going to make it. So yeah, it was great. It was a great time. It was a really great time. So yeah, season 1, it's all available for streaming and all that stuff. So you can watch and mock.
You can binge Contact
Yeah.
through your eye holes, and you can audio his audibles through your ear holes.
Absolutely can.
And then you can get Braille editions of his tour books for your fingers. How's that?
Sounds great.
All right.
Probably
Sounds
get
great.
really close to the screen and sniff real hard.
Yeah. Well,
We might have
I don't have to
smell-o-vision
get
one
that
of these
smell of
days.
it. Yeah. Oh, like anybody needs to smell me, but that's that's all right.
You can't cover all the senses here.
I wasn't going to say.
Some people pay extra for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking
Thank
a
you.
few minutes
Thank you,
out of
John.
your convention to talk to us.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all next time.